Got an unexpected secondary stream today. Just finished my haircut and I'm heading back home, but thought it would be a nice opportunity. We're gonna get out of this neighborhood because we've been here before, although it seems like even more businesses out than the last time I was here, I guess 3 weeks ago. It's weird that these art galleries are all remaining open. This is being kicked off in a little bit of a unusual manner compared to how I usually start live streams. So let me check and make sure that we're actually live here. Hadn't planned on a second live stream today. Well, it's possible that it's not live. I don't know. It says 1 hour ago. I hope I didn't set it up wrong. Perhaps it's not live. That might have been a mistake by me. Well, all right, so we'll record it and then we'll deal with that later. But I wanted to head down to sort of, well, here, let's go this way a little bit and then we'll check out Times Square. We'll see what's going on elsewhere around the city. I also realized I have forgotten to speak about something pretty important. Here's a shoe store, 50% off and closed. I was watching Amazing Polly. She does a lot of good videos. And then people say, oh, get Amazing Polly on the show. I invited her on, she didn't want to come on. Maybe she doesn't like my position on Q, maybe she doesn't like me, maybe she doesn't like doing interviews. But she's declined the invitation to come on. She had a really interesting video about something called crowd tangle, which just seems remarkably similar to some of these tools David Hawkins has told me about, these social engineering appliances that David Hawkins has spoken about. Oh, maybe it is live. Yeah. Looks like it's going.
I'll give you the 50 if you have $1. I really will.
There's a Labor Day puppy sale at this place for $11 and up for a puppy. They really do have some cute dogs here. But I think people don't like puppy stores because you're supposed to rescue dogs or something. To get these fluffy little dogs just hanging out. Yeah, so this crowd tangle thing. People should check out that Amazing Polly video. It was bought by Facebook, and it's basically used to fact check and essentially spy on people. They were spying on some journalists, I think Hannity. I don't really know if Hannity's a journalist so much as a news personality, but Hannity, Sarah Carter, John Solomon, and it was somehow being used in the U.S. Embassy in, I guess, Kiev in Ukraine, and they were talking about that ambassador who was testifying at the impeachment hearing. But I looked a little bit into crowd tangle. This is what's so interesting. We've got this network of independent journalists. Amazing Polly is independent as far as I know. I don't think she's paid by any giant financial, corporate, whatever. I don't know, but that's my impression. And she's providing a lot of interesting information that's vastly different than what you hear on the mainstream news. When you look into this crowd tangle thing, I don't have all this in front of me right now, but I was looking at the board of directors, and one of the guys on there, he was associated with the Webbies, which, like the Emmys, it's a type of award that's given for excellence in, internet-based something or other. And the Webbies, it's given out by the National Academy or the Academy of Digital Arts and Sciences. See, so that's interesting. I don't know if there's any affiliation between the Webbies and the Emmys, or the Academy of Digital Arts and Sciences and the National Academy of Television Arts and Sciences, but the names sure sound similar, right? Webbies, Emmys, Academies of Arts and Sciences, they seem to have similar taste in names. Wouldn't it be interesting if there was some connection between the National Academy of Television Arts and Sciences and the Academy of Digital Arts and Sciences? Because, you know, I have this feeling that the Emmys and the Oscars and the Grammys and the Tonys and all these awards, they're given out to people who they want to sort of anoint as the approved They got a tiki hut theme going at this place, Piccola Cucina. Yeah, these awards, they're given out to the approved, you know, if you're the type of person who says, oh, Lee Harvey Oswald definitely shot, no need to investigate. Why would you, you know, anything other than that is a conspiracy theory. That's Emmy award-winning stuff. Anybody who would question that, anybody who actually wants a police investigation, anybody who points to the anomalous evidence and physical impossibility of the claims, whether it's the JFK assassination, 9/11, the Las Vegas shooting, what we're being told about COVID deaths versus influenza deaths versus all the other information that we're hearing. Anybody who questions anything that is not officially approved and sanctioned by being given some dopey award, well, those people are conspiracy theorists, obviously. Wow, look at how dead Park Avenue is. Whew, that's amazing. Yeah, so it's something to look into, this crowd tangle. Crowd strike, crowd tangle. See, I think they're kind of irritated that I created crowdsource the truth, because they're sort of, they want to tangle the crowd, strike the crowd. I'm just using the crowd as a source for truth. Seems perhaps more benevolent than striking or tangling, but what's in a name? I don't know that much about crowd tangle or anybody involved with it. I just saw this amazing Polly video this morning and you know, started Googling that place. Whatever it is, Facebook bought it. Also, it's more like you got to be in the in crowd to even access it. I'm pretty sure it said you have to be invited to use it. And Polly was pointing out some guy, I think he was a New York Times reporter or something, that he had access to this thing and that it's invitation only, and that the New York Times and the embassy in Ukraine had it. That's weird, right? We can see the Time Warner Center over there where fake news is made fresh daily at CNN. Right? Isn't that one of the things of the Time Warner? I think it is. Maybe I'm wrong. Where am I now? 60. I could be wrong. So yeah, we're gonna head back. It's Madison again. Give people some more sights here for the middle of the day. See if we can. I'm at the age where bifocal glasses are needed, so these sunglasses, I didn't have the budget to get them bifocally made. Hummingbirds, I don't know where that came from. Got a cat that thinks he's a dog and he fights for bones. All right. Tail end before the migration. Sugar water. I don't know. A lot of these comments don't make sense to me, folks. So we'll go back to just paying attention to what's happening on the street. Here is a bathing ape. Now I feel like I saw that before and I still have no idea what it is, but it looks like they got something from Planet of the Apes there. Yeah, no, that is part of the Time Warner. That's the right side of it. We're approaching Central Park. Batteries are a little low at this point, particularly on the stabilizer, so I'm not sure how long this particular live stream will last before it becomes unstable. Oh, wow. People waiting like crazy to get into the Apple store. I think the glass box Apple store is under construction and they have something right around the corner. But why are these people waiting? It's like no iPhone coming out for a couple of weeks, I think. Maybe they've reopened the glass box. I don't really feel like going to Central Park. We're going to just walk down Fifth Ave and check out Times Square. I like the people walking around with the chin mask. It's kind of they're not committing either way. They've got it handy. Oh yeah, it's reopened, the glass box store. So that's interesting. That white thing in the background used to be the temporary Apple store while they were doing whatever they're doing to this one. And that there is the Plaza Hotel, used to be owned by Donald Trump, currently owned by Al Walid. I'm pretty sure that thing under construction is the tallest building in Manhattan, or gonna be tallest apartment building. I could be wrong. I think it is. I really dislike these ice cream trucks that spew diesel fuel all day to sell ice cream. So there's definitely more activity on the streets. No line here for Bergdorf Goodman, which is interesting if people want to go in there and buy stuff. I mean, my concern with buying anything really at a store is walking around with a bag filled with stuff that somebody is likely to want to come. What's going on there? It looks like a huge, am I seeing a huge gathering of cops, or is that an optical illusion? Yeah, maybe it's just a few cops and then other people. So this is Trump Tower I'm approaching. Yeah, a lot of people still giving the stink eye. What street am I on? I am on 5th Ave and 57th right here, right outside Trump Tower. Oh, but that question was asked a while ago. Stage 4 lockdown extended in Melbourne, Australia, under 80 cases. Yeah, smoke and quills. I saw a video where they arrested a woman, a pregnant woman, in her house. Pretty terrible. I've been to Australia, and I kind of had the feeling that if there was another country that I might live in, I could save that filthy mask for later, I guess. So I don't know if these cops are protecting Tiffany's, I guess. I mean, dropping the mask on the ground and picking it up to use it later speaks to the intelligence of the individual. All the police walking around without the masks, that speaks to the orders being given to the police. Oh yeah, what happened to the blue? It looks like they've attempted to clear up that blue paint. Oh no, there it is. Still blue. I think her name was Diana, that woman we met 2 weeks ago. So it's interesting how the protests have turned into retail lines. Oh look, Shark Week. I guess nobody dislikes Shark Week, right? So we maybe watch some sharks eat people or whatever. It's funny, a lot of cops over at Tiffany's. and that's about it. And then we got the official NYPD mask. So I guess it's not mandated because we've got some cops wearing it and some cops not. I prefer that because that way when they try to, crack your skull for not wearing it, you could just tell them, hey, it's a fancy BMW. Even on Fifth Avenue, we're not immune here. We got stores going out. Oh, now, I don't know if people recall, but last Sunday, Charles and I saw a matte black, I've never seen that vehicle before, a fastback Rolls Royce. That looked like it was ready for battle right over here. Charles said he saw two kids run up to it or get out of it or something, be handed some money. Who knows what that's about? Things seem calmer somehow. I don't understand how these places just leave all the watches on display. Seems like the glass would be smashed. I guess they must have some plan for that. The Rolls Royce has been there before, Barbara? You've seen it before? Calm before the storm, Mike says. I feel like that could be correct. I think there's coordinated stuff being planned. Like, that town of, how could I forget the name of it? Wisconsin, where all that unrest happened. Keshowa or whatever, Keshowa, something like that. I mean, that's like a tiny little small town that became the focus of the nation's attention due to crime and unrest. How easy would it be to select any small town? That's what they want people to think. They want you to say, oh, that could be my town. And they want everybody to be afraid. That's why they're domestic terrorists, because they're into terrorizing people. That's St. Thomas's Church. It's funny, no trespassing. Usually, that's weird. I think that's new, because usually there's a lot of homeless people sleeping on these steps, and I always thought that they were sort of welcome because it was the church. Now it says no trespassing. I wonder when that changed. Let's see, I'm getting kind of closer to Times Square. Let me head over west here. Oh yeah. They want you to advertise your small business on link. First of all, it's important for people to realize the only people I ever see using that link are homeless guys trying to charge their phones, or maybe out-of-town rioters trying to charge their phones. And so I just came from a haircut, and I've spoken a lot about how I've become friendly with the proprietor of the hair salon, and he's got a lot of problems. He's telling me that the state has mandated that he can only have half as many people in the space as what the law previously allowed, but the rent stays the same. So here's something interesting. We had all those people protecting the hotel where homeless people were put in there because they have no place to live. And I read that it was $6,000 a month per person in the hotel. That seems incredibly high. And I'm not saying that we shouldn't have a program to house people who can't afford their own housing, but I don't think $6,000 a month makes a lot of sense for that. Oh, I love this restaurant. I kind of love everything about Brazil, but this is a Brazilian churrascaria. This is an absolutely gigantic restaurant, if anybody has ever been to the one here in New York City. And Wow, look at what they've done. They've got churrascaria outdoors. It's kind of, oh, it smells delicious. I love this place. How's it going? You guys able to keep it going? That's good. So yeah, we've got outdoor churrascaria. This is unique. I don't know if I've ever even seen this in Brazil. Boy, it's making me hungry.
I think overall.
But anyway, I mean, you know, this, I don't know that this really, the way this type of churrascaria restaurant works is that they have all these kind of fancy steaks and different meats and a whole variety, like maybe more than a dozen different things that these gauchos just bring around fresh off the rotisserie, and it's, you know, it's all you can eat. It's gluttonous, obviously, but it's delicious. And I think the nature of the way that business works is they have a huge restaurant, they cook a huge amount of food, and you pay a fixed fee to go in there, and if there's enough people, it works. I wonder, though, when you reduce the audience size, you know, you reduce the, whatever you call it, the occupancy by that much, I wonder if the business model of the restaurant even works anymore. Obviously, they're going to do that while they're still here as kind of a stopgap measure, but the question is, long term, can that sort of thing last? It's right across the street from the MoMA, by the way, which is also interesting. So I think a restaurant like that suffers when tourism, I mean, that's not the kind of place you'd go every day. First of all, it's expensive. Second of all, who can eat tons of meat like that again and again? But I think that place is hurt when tourism is reduced. Here's another restaurant that I don't know about, but they're also outside there. So it's good to see these places, you know, make an effort to adapt. Here's Blue Mercury. I don't think I even know what that is. Makeup and skincare spa. The front is smashed. Yeah, I mean, the other reason I wanted to do this other live stream is I was kind of inspired by that mini Statue of Liberty. You know, it had that, I don't know if it's a poem or whatever, that plaque talking about our hour of greatest need. I think we're in it again. I mean, these streets are normally teeming. Even a place like that would have a line for people wanting to buy food. Every single one of these guys I've spoken to have said that business has been terrible toward non-existent. Here's some people from Virginia pulling up to the crosswalk trying to run me over. Look at how empty the streets are. UBS, the Union Bank of Switzerland. I do enjoy Radio City Music Hall. I've been in there a few times for different shows and stuff, and actually we participated a bit in, you know, they had a 3D Santa Claus movie there. We provided some screening facilities while that was in development for the group that made it. So we've collaborated with them a bit. And then we're back over here by Fox News, News Corp, Wall Street Journal, New York Post. Oh yeah, they have Ted.
Okay, get the camera off. Yeah, what's that?
See, that's a mean lady. I'm just walking down the street and that woman's got to say something to me. So she gets the finger. Sorry for people who don't like that. I was just walking down the street. She's out in public. If you don't want to be photographed, the less attention you draw to yourself, no one's going to notice. I was going to talk about the Ted Turner Buffalo Grill, which frankly is terrible. I've eaten there once and was not impressed. I find that woman, telling me what to do more antagonistic than me just walking down the street with a camera. We are in public in New York City. There are cameras everywhere. Someone who's going to tell me what to do, they're in the wrong. Put on a mask. You should have one on if you don't want to be seen. It's not illegal anymore, which it should be. But it's definitely not illegal to walk around with a camera. So telling me what to do, you're intruding in my space here. Yeah, here's Capitol Grill. So this is a fancy chain restaurant. I'm less concerned about these places than the small businesses. Right, so back to my friend with the hair salon. So, he told me that his landlord is being flexible, giving them more time to pay, but he's still got this problem of, 4 months and change with zero business. It could take years to make up 4 months of rent. It's got to be thousands of dollars per month. It's got to be 20 or 30 grand. How's he going to get that money back? And so the point I was trying to get at before is if it's $6,000 a month to put homeless people, some of which are crack users, heroin users, put them in a hotel, how is that a long-term solution for anything? That just seems like a way to get money to the hotel. And, we heard from many people who live in those neighborhoods that it seems like a bad use of those resources because it's not really doing anything to solve the problems that those individuals have in terms of maybe drug abuse problems. Perhaps they could be trained for a job to become self-sufficient and earn enough money to some point pay for their own apartment. But $6,000 per unit per month is just exorbitantly high. Couldn't we find somewhere else in New York City or New York State to house a large number of homeless people, maybe for $3,000 each a month or $600 each a month, put them into a hospital somewhere, put them into the Javits Center where they can be looked after by medical professionals, mental health professionals, people who might be able to help them with drug addiction problems and start trying to solve the root of that rather than just putting a $6,000 per person Band-Aid on the situation. Because you see, the problem that I see is when you take a business owner like my friend with the hair salon and just leave him to hang out to dry, he's not going to be able to pay his rent. He's not going to be able to pay his employees. He told me that so much of his clientele has moved out of New York City or were people who were working in New York City who no longer are, and that he's crushed. His business is doing really badly. He doesn't see how he's going to be able to stay in business. And wouldn't it make sense for the city and the state and the government to be directly helping people like that, small businesses that just need to overcome this 4-month loss of revenue and pay back the rent to the landlords? There could be some sort of, I don't know, but just giving out money to unproductive members of society who are just chasing, what the hell is going on over here? Chasing people out of the neighborhoods.
Move.
I don't know what's going on there, but somebody's got a full diaper and it might have been one of the adults. But to me, it doesn't make sense to expend resources. Again, I'm very sensitive to this concept of, money versus people. However, I think we all recognize that money is a resource that is needed to help people with food, with housing, fixing things, constructing things. That all takes money. So if it's going to get wasted on things like the Javits Center hospital that never gets used. How's business? Business is good?
Yes.
What are people buying in the store?
No, slow, people slow.
What?
Because here, the tourist, no tourist.
No tourists.
No tourists.
So how is business good?
No. But tomorrow something.
Tomorrow something.
Yes, it's Saturday.
Today is Saturday.
Yeah, Saturday, just Saturday something.
What about all these guys selling fake Louis Vuitton bags? You know anything about that?
Happy bye. Inside.
Okay, thanks. Have a good day. I'm not sure what that guy was trying to tell me. It's unclear if business is good or not good. I would expect it's not good. Man, some mean looking dudes. Look at that guy. He's looking at me right now. Jeez Louise. I think we got a network of vendors on the street level who are in communication with one another. What is this place selling? This is a Hershey's store. That's weird. That is just weird stuff that they're selling there. But welcome to Times Square, everybody. Once again, if radio interference or anything else disrupts the broadcast, I'll have the remainder of it available to sponsors on subscribestar.com/crowdsourcethetruth or patreon.com/crowdsourcethetruth. I hope people will, wow, look at that 100% electric tiny little car being advertised up there. I hope people will become sponsors even if the broadcast isn't interrupted. What a furrowed brow on that guy. So many angry looking people walking around. And I mean, I get it. There's a lot to be angry about right now. Life is a little bit upended at the moment. Now, what's going on here? It seems oddly clear. Something. What the hell is going on? Alexa. I don't know, something strange. Skinny Captain America. Batman with kiss boots. Yeah, so I hope people will become sponsors. Just in general, keep the channel going. Here's Eyewitness News. What are they doing there? Are they aware of something going down? Is something planned that I'm not aware of? It feels like something is happening. Here's Times Square. September, is it 5th? 4th, 5th, 6th? What day is today? It's Groundhog Day. But here we are in Times Square. I guess there's a Tina Turner play, but I don't think any Broadway plays are open. So they're just putting them on Disney Online or Disney Plus. I guess there's some people in the 5G store there. I don't know if they work there or they're buying stuff. Sephora's having a sale. That Forever 21 was the Virgin Megastore at one point. It's a gigantic place. I mean, unless you have a ton of sales going on in there, I just can't imagine that's a worthwhile thing to keep open. Here's some kind of Princess Minnie Mouse. That is an impressive Transformer costume. Seems like that would be difficult to walk in. So I think a lot of people will look at this and presume that New York is coming back to life, but this is still really a fraction of the people that would normally be here. And in a general sense, the people around, they look to me like they're from New York. Doesn't really seem like the international tourist crowd that we usually see in general.
Anyway, what?
I mean, look at that. You just do not, in the daytime, in the summertime, or any time, see Times Square this empty. How long until these ads stop? Like, how valuable is an ad on here if there's a lot less people looking at it? See, like, would that be an ad for a Spotify? Maybe. I don't know. I don't know who that guy is. I wonder if the ad rates have already come down on this stuff. Whoa, what was this? Oh, is this Bubba Gump's Shrimp out of business? I think it was. I mean, I never ate there, not in New York at least. I've eaten there. I don't think it's very good at all. They were just advertising Rob Schneider up there. He's got a comedy special coming on Netflix. I saw Rob Schneider being interviewed by Larry King at one point, and he's a lot more knowledgeable than I realized about vaccines and the science behind them. He kind of schooled Larry King in a way that I was extremely impressed by. And also, I think he's funny, Rob Schneider. So, I guess if people want to watch him on Netflix, you can do that. A lot of people walking around not looking where they're going. It's basically exiting Times Square at this point. Explore the multiverse. I'm not sure what that is. AT&T. I think it's just a cell phone store. Now, this is interesting. Ads that look like graffiti. I guess they want everybody to get used to seeing graffiti like that. Never, never give up. Keep smiling. The whole place looks out of business. I mean, that billboard makes it look more like a wreck. That McDonald's is out of business. Whatever this was is all boarded up. See that? How that works? They got these loose metal plates on the street, so when a bus drives by, you nearly have a heart attack. But I mean, even this, crossing against the light on 42nd and 7th, that does not usually happen. I don't remember what this was. It's a full-on wreck out here, everybody. Now there's a spot a few blocks down from here on 7th Avenue where the broadcast has consistently been cut. Takeout and free delivery from Red Lobster. I've never been in here, but it's also a huge place, which if they don't have people eating in there, I think you could just rent a small kitchen and deliver lobsters out of that. But also, who's eating lobster if everybody's broke? Here, we'll go over here. We'll check out what's happening with the Port Authority. Here's whatever theater is playing Aladdin. That's like the stage door where I guess you can come out and meet your Broadway stars after the show. But all these things are closed. Here we can see, I guess a homeless person was staying there. I mean, how long can these shows stay closed? What about the actors who are in them? How are they earning any money? Check the comments. Oh, getting real low on battery here. We might be close to done. $510 people. Lobster once a month. Do I have any walkabout videos before the plague? I do, curious too. It might be harder to find, but people would have to go back and search. Like right now, if you're watching live, you're watching on Crowdsource the Truth 2. So please share this video and encourage people to subscribe to Crowdsource the Truth 2. That's the backup channel. You can also get, you know, right now, you have to wait until I get back to the apartment to post this on Patreon and Subscribestar. But becoming a sponsor on subscribestar.com/crowdsourcethetruth or patreon.com/crowdsourcethetruth is a great way to stay up on all the live streams and to help me keep the show going. Subscribe to Crowdsource the Truth 2 on YouTube if you're not already there. The president of television and his malicious strike on the Jason Goodman channel are preventing live streaming to the larger audience. This place smells really good. Wolfgang's Chop House. It's good. That guy's enjoying his dinner. So this is the Port Authority bus terminal. This is a place that even in good times is pretty rough. When I was younger, like college days, like huge concentration of homeless people in there. Pretty unsafe feeling. I don't know what the crime level is in there, but it was pretty bad. And I mean, this is basically where you get buses mostly to New Jersey and stuff like that. And I guess Heartland Brewery might be closed. That's a restaurant in the ground floor. This is the failing New York Times right here. I just saw somebody pick up a mask from the floor. If you drop the mask on the floor, you might as well leave it. I don't think it's going to be sanitary. There's another Virginia license plate. Why are you coming from Virginia to New York? I don't really want to go into the Port Authority bus terminal because it's just not that interesting. I'm mostly interested to see, is Heartland Brewery closed? It appears to be. It's got string around it. I think most of these are closing. I used to really like this place, but the last time I was in it, one of the most disgusting things that ever happened at a restaurant happened, and I no longer support Heartland Brewery. And actually the one where it happened in the Empire State Building closed. So yeah, the restaurant's closed. Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, they're not going to have outdoor dining here outside Port Authority bus terminal, and you can't eat inside. This is one of the strangest statues in all of New York City. This is a statue of Jackie Gleason as the character Ralph Cramden, who is a bus driver in the show The Honeymooners. It even says Ralph Cramden right down there on the base of the statue. So, I like The Honeymooners. How come they're not trying to topple that statue? Perhaps it's racist. I do not support the toppling of statues. I'm not really into toppling anything. If you dislike a statue, I think you should, vote or get with the city council or whoever is in charge of deciding to move statues and sort it out that way. Is this a line for Arby's? That's unbelievable. No, it's Jollibee, home of famous chicken. I never heard of that place before. I'm not familiar with this bee, but there's a line for chicken. Yeah, so now we're in the neighborhood where 21st Century 3D's office used to be, and this is also a pretty, not a good neighborhood. I rented the office in this neighborhood because it was cheap. And although the rental price of the office went up, I don't know if the quality of the neighborhood did. And there's definitely not a lot of restaurants around here. It's a lot of fast food, pizza, Chinese, kind of takeout. And maybe I guess a lot of just kind of unsavory people heading to the Port Authority bus terminal or something like that. So here's a place that's, I guess, teasing an outdoor dining situation. It's the Angelina Pizzeria, but nobody's in there. A lot of closed businesses around here too. I think that might have been a hardware store. This place is fairly popular, Two Bros Pizza. This is just $1 for a piece of pizza, so economical place to go. Here's another Dos Toros. Now let's see, is that one closed also? Maybe they've closed all of them. Taqueria, yeah, that seems closed. Ah, no, here's the hardware store. It does say temporarily closed, or temporary store hours. I guess they're just not open on Saturday. Yeah, I mean, these places around here are more pretty much catering to businesses. This is a bar. Wow, outdoor seating at the bar. I don't know if that's a bar that most people would want to go into. It's kind of an after-work bar. But I don't know where those guys are working. This place is out.
Wait, Teal.
A lot of places out. A lot of face diapers. No, there is no In-N-Out Burger, Charles. Not in New York. Here's another Essen. Let's see, I think they're another chain that seems to have closed all of their places. Looks pretty closed. It says open for takeout and delivery, but it does not appear to be the case. They only got a B from the Department of Health. Oh, wow, this is new, the Taylor Public House. This was not here when 21st Century 3D's office was here. This was a deli. And that's the old 21st Century 3D office right there. Oh yeah, there's a police precinct down this street. What's going on here? Don't know, but we got a lot of police vehicles around. It's funny, they definitely close the tinted out windows when I walk by, so the police don't want people. See, I wonder, is there something about to happen in Times Square? What are all these police vehicles doing at the ready down here? There was something going on in that little plaza there by TKTS. I'm not sure what, but it just had a real, oh wow, Familia Pizza is closed. I don't like that place either, but it's been there forever. This is the hotel restaurant. This is the New Yorker Hotel. Nikola Tesla died in this hotel. Now it's the Wyndham. But Tesla lived the last years of his life and then ultimately died in that hotel. And actually, this place turned into the CNN diner when they had some, I forget what, maybe the DNC primary or something in there. B&H Photos down over that way. Frequent location. Although I don't go there anymore. So this is a bit of a rough part of town. People will recall early in the pandemic I was assaulted just immediately upon entering Penn Station. We're looking at Madison Square Garden right now, which sits on top of Penn Station. But you can even see the Pennsylvania Station entrance right there at the base of that basketball ad. Here's another smashed bank. That's my bank, TD Bank. Not this branch, but somebody smashed it. And now here's the post office. This is, remember we were talking about how Facebook is taking, I think they said 700,000 square feet of office space. And then people were talking about Hudson Yards over there, smart cities. I don't know anything about that smart city deal, but it's almost like, you know, old New York, new New York. They're totally redoing the post office so that it's now, and this is open now. This just recently was open. There's more train station under there. And then I don't know what they really changed. When I go into the post office, it still pretty much looks the same. There's more taxis out now than there have been, so I guess they must know something. I guess there's just more people around. People seem to think they can not pay attention while they ride their bicycles on the sidewalk. You should not be riding a bicycle on the sidewalk. But I think I mentioned this. These guys might be taking on a larger role in our story pretty soon. Mary. Oh, just lost battery on the stabilizer. So let's see, I don't know if this is going to work too well. Battery free. Get that bicycle off the sidewalk. Just almost crashed into me. Okay, at least that guy takes advice. Stupid idiot looking at his phone while he rides a bike on the sidewalk. All right, so we're going to be totally unstable here. Oh, well, actually, that might not be terrible. It's kind of functional. The sun's going to set pretty soon. It's been a beautiful day. Despite what's going on. Oh, wow. Brother Jimmy's BBQ out of business. I mean, again, I didn't necessarily endorse these places, but that was a popular place, and it looks like there's a woman trying to get in there right now. I don't know, maybe she's just hanging out in the doorway. So that's out. Anybody wanting to go to the barbecue place, out of luck. Blarney Stone. They actually have good roast beef sandwiches there. Still in business. This entire block is basically out. How you feeling? Doing all right? Be safe, huh? That person said hi, so figured they wanted to be recorded. But look at this. Look at the state of this. Now, to be fair, Diauto Bakery went out a while ago. I was very sad when this place closed, you know. Used to be able to walk in here. Look at this. What a wreck. Used to be able to walk in here any day of the week and get a beautiful, freshly baked birthday cake. And I remember, I guess 21st Century 3D was still running because I used to walk to work in the morning, and if it was one of the employees' birthdays, I would get a cake there. And I remember the last time I went in there, they said, "Oh no more pre-made cakes. You got to order it 48 hours in advance now." And I remember thinking, wow, that's a bad sign. That's like a kind of an index that Jimmy Moriarty would look at, the readily available freshly baked birthday cake index, because obviously if they stop doing that, that is their small business evaluation that there's just not enough people around buying birthday cakes anymore to justify having them there ready. And then shortly after that, those guys went out of business. But that was well before the pandemic. I don't think that this part of town is really doing too well from the pandemic. A lot of stuff is closed. So yeah, the lack of stabilizer is quite frustrating as far as making this video function. I think we might be close to done for today. We've got more businesses out across the street. Can people see that? All right, so I think we're getting pretty shaky here. Just remind people, become a sponsor on subscribestar.com/crowdsourcethetruth or patreon.com/crowdsourcethetruth. Huge thank you to the generous sponsors that make the show possible. Oh yeah, there's another place over here. It might be one block over that way. It's like the Department of Mental Hygiene or something like that, which I found that name so weird. This is a nice image if this guy's a NYPD officer petting a neighborhood dog. That was nice. So that seems to be the way we want to see the police interfacing. So everybody likes you. Are you NYPD?
No, I am co-op security.
Park security. Okay, so but you're not working for the. I thought you were a cop, and I was like, wow, everybody likes this guy. What's going on?
We're under the umbrella of NYPD, but I'm a special patrolman. Work for Penn South Complex. Take care of property from 23rd to 28th to 29th.
Be safe, my friend.
Thank you, brother. You have a great afternoon.
Take care. Here's the post office. I haven't really seen a postal van like that, so we don't want to defund the post office. Yeah, that's weird. I've never seen a postal van quite exactly like that. Huh, there's another business out right here. Boy, this thing is really difficult to work when it's not working. Totally out of business. Yeah, so I was about to sign off before I started talking to that guy who kind of works for NYPD. Everybody likes that guy. So that's, maybe he could be a role model for other officers. All right, thanks for tuning in, everybody. Have a great day.